Coming up today on This Is True Really News, Guinness.
I think I'm related to them.
Attention. I hope so.
Because Verkenis and Guinness kind of rhyme.
Ooh, they sound good together.
Yeah, but my son's idea for a first name for his son was awful when he was a kid.
Oh, what was it?
Dennis.
Dennis Verkenis.
And his friend Cass Bowen was going to name his son Owen, so we'd have Dennis Verkenis and Owen Bowen.
No.
Exactly.
Just not. Please, like, you who come here regularly, start hitting the like button on a regular basis. We need the help with the algorithm.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't come here that often.
Huh?
I don't come here that often. What if I don't like us and I just come here a lot?
Why'd you hit the like button and
grudgingly
and screw up?
It's a small world.
Leave comments wherever you find us, please. And if you want to send us a story or a longer missive, TITR@netradio.network.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Verkenis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
I darn near said it.
Thinking some of those longer missives might be coming your way anyway.
Yeah, okay.
British Columbia real estate agent Mike Rose is out on his ear in Kamloops.
Well, that's got to be uncomfortable.
After he was, I'm guessing it's a town area thing.
It's named after the tribe. I'm serious. It's true.
I'm not arguing.
Oh, okay.
Mike Rose out on his ear in Kamloops after he was caught on video swigging milk straight from the bottle at a home he was showing. According to Canoe,
he probably used the last of the butter and didn't put any more out, too.
You know, and then he licked the fork. It was just... Canoe reported on last July that Rose was waiting for his clients to arrive for a showing. After slaking his thirst, he returned the milk to the fridge. Rose apologized, saying his behavior was truly out of character, but he was very dehydrated. Yeah, so his clients replaced him, and he's got to pay a $22,500 fine.
Ooh, that's expensive milk.
That must be really good milk.
Must be imported.
Moo.
Maybe the Guinness people.
Guinness milk? That would be beer.
Milk.
Yummy.
This from Guinness via Jessica Thompson. A Portland, Oregon, USA woman with a tongue circumference larger than the height of a soda can.
Oh, so many thoughts going through my head. Never mind. Go ahead.
Has just lapped up a record title.
I'll bet she has.
Jenny Duvander, whose tongue has a circumference of 13.25 centimeters.
Let me guess. She licked the competition.
We're going to get there.
Okay.
Or 5.21 inches, has the largest tongue circumference of a female in the world.
You could taste the victory.
For context, the average soda can stands at 12.2 centimeters or 4.8 inches high. See, I was reading the 2023 Guinness World Records book with my son before bed and saw a picture of the male record holder, said Jenny. Her son encouraged her to give it a go, Mom. To measure the circumference of her tongue, Jenny says a doctor wrapped dental floss around it and then measured the length of the floss. Jenny has been able to flex her tongue for as long as she can remember, realized she had a unique trait when she was a teenager.
Sorry.
And it was unique as a trait.
Very unique.
Although she says flexing her tongue isn't a very useful skill. Sure does surprise people.
Huh. Speaking of sports,
it usually comes up when folks are comparing what tongue tricks they can do, says Jenny. People might think I'm turning it sideways until they realize it's that big all around.
speaking of sports,
Did you think that the Guinness people got through that the same way we did without, just
No,
as
I think they had
professional
beer.
as that? I think they probably did.
Yeah, during a friendly soccer match last July between Gateshead and Dunstan, and England players and spectators were astonished. Astonished, I say.
A woman showed up with a tongue the size of a Foster's.
And, wow, but a tongue lashing would hurt.
Or kill you.
Players and spectators were astonished as men wearing balaclavas drove a hearse onto the pitch, according to The Independent. Yep, just before 8:20 p.m., the funeral car and a Subaru made their way onto the pitch, where they spun around in circles as their occupants threw leaflets from the cars. The drivers of the hearse left that vehicle right there on the pitch and hopped in the other car, and then they skedaddled.
They were protesting football?
Officials were forced to call off the match. You think? They were just doing shit in the middle of your field. Duh.
Yeah, right?
Northumbria police. Hey, isn't that where Vera works? Vera Stanhope.
For
TV show.
Oh, that
Northumbria police said 4 men had been arrested and remained in police custody. Police say disorder will not be tolerated in the community.
That's right.
Inquiries continue.
All the disorder
Nowhere
will
in
be
the story.
government sponsored.
No. Well, they do it for a living. Nowhere in the whole story, though, do they tell me what the leaflets were for. So help me a favor.
Come on.
Free pizza if this side wins.
Yeah. Now I got to know.
I know.
Well,
Dunstan last July.
It's a small, weird world.
After all,
this person grew up in a very small town in central New York, moved to New Jersey in their late 40s, and became a real estate appraiser. Boy, real estate, you are good looking.
Not what they meant, but okay.
One day I started chatting with a homeowner, and he noticed my New York accent and asked where I was from. I told him New York. Duh. He asked, where in New York, you nitwit? He said his wife was from New York and asked what town. I said a little town no one ever heard of. And when I told him, he said, my wife grew up there. Well, not only did she grow up there, but she lived on the same street and in the same house. So I met the daughter of the people who owned the house prior to my family.
Waiting for Rod Serling again.
And the second one, you ready?
Yeah.
When I was in
Probably not.
elementary school, one of my cousins on my dad's side was stabbed to death by a random stranger who somehow was able to avoid jail for the murder.
Really?
That's bad. That's bad.
How? Why? What?
Don't know. They don't explain, but they do say nearly 20 years later, the killer's kid grew up and stabbed my mom's cousin to death totally randomly.
Wow.
Right? It's a movie. Look it up.
Even Martin Luther's looking for him. He's got to be here.
He's got to be here.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.